justice must be maintained and served if we expect to have a country of a diverse population. Let me explain. We could all work together, if there's equal justice for the rich and the poor, equal justice for the minorities, for everybody. Equal justice, like I said, basically it's based on the Christian values. That's what America is based on. And that justice will be served no matter what your race, color, nationality, orientation, etc. Now, if those standards are maintained, that justice is served no matter what, then we would have a thriving and prosperous country, and everyone would be happy. They would feel secure in the laws. But do we have that? We don't have it today. What we have is a bunch of leftists telling us there are some people that are more deserving than others. In other words, they are more equal. So they are trying to raise a group of different class warfare. They're creating their own classes by breaking up genders, breaking up the races. They're creating classes, and then they're trying to create class warfare in order to split up the country and bring in communism, as Glenn Beck was saying, which I think makes perfect sense, because they want to bring in some system where they have total control over us. So the bottom line is, like we talked about, people saying Islam is not compatible with Western ideology. I mean, and it isn't. It isn't technically. But then also we've had other groups, like obviously the Ku Klux Klan is not compatible with Western ideology. Socialists are not compatible with Western ideology. Communists are not compatible with Western ideology. And yet they live in this country, and I'm sure there are other groups too, beyond those main ones, that live in America and are not all in jail. And why are they able to live here and they're not all in jail? It's because while they have their belief systems and their ideologies, they are still subject to the laws of the land. So the point is, they're not allowed to go out and kill people. They're not allowed to go out and make slaves of people. They're not allowed to go out and start, stringing people up they don't like. They're not allowed to start taking people's money, and they're not allowed to do a bunch of things. These groups all exist. People who have these beliefs exist in America, but they are under American law, and they have to obey it. And that is how they have been able to stay in America all this time without being persecuted or without ruining our freedom, because they kept their beliefs to themselves and their own groups. However, what we have today are elites in government who are not obeying the law. They're accepting bribes. They're allowing unequal justice to exist. They're putting politics over morals. They're saying, if someone gets killed, they're this killer's skin, so we're not going to worry about that. Or, they're this, so we don't have to give them justice. Really? Sounds like a recipe for disaster for that. And that is why the people in Europe have been revolting, because their governments have not been watching out for them. See, all these stupid governments had to do was maintain equal justice for everybody. There's plenty of justice to go around. There's equal justice for citizens, and of course the migrants, the justice for them will be covered under the international laws or whatever laws they have on the books. But no, instead they decided to kick the citizens to the curb and treat the migrants like their favorite sons. And that's why the left has been deposed across Europe. And that's why they'll continue to be deposed, because of their stupidity. We need equal justice for all. We believe that God created all people equally. And things like murder is murder, rape is rape, robbery is robbery, and they pay the price no matter who they are. And that's it. And if we don't have a society that looks on moral absolutes and treats everybody equally and fairly, then that's when we're going to start to have, vigilantes and more crime and rebellions, revolutions, and it's all because the stupid governments did not have enough sense to apply the law equally. Equal justice, and let freedom ring.